speaking of character development, there's been a little show going on Disney Plus called Loki. So after we got WandaVision, after we got Falcon and the Winter Soldier, now Captain America and the Winter Soldier, we have the Loki series here. And it's interesting because on the surface level, I would say the production value is really good, right? It looks like a movie. It's shot like a movie. There's some good character moments and some good character pieces. Hot take, I'm bored. Hot take, wow. Spicy take, I am so bored with this show.
I was not
so bored with this show. I mean, again, production-wise, beautifully shot, beautiful scenery. Whoever is giving us this world building when it comes to making us believe that we're in this like time variant place, making us believe that all these people exist within a different realm of time. Like I feel like I am in a different part of space. And that part keeps me intrigued in the show because I want to see what happens with that and the sort of mystery behind it. But I think there's some sort of character study art piece that's going on here that I think takes up too much time. This is my own opinion, and I'm going to ask you guys what you think about it. But we're going to go into spoilers for Loki. So far, we've had three
spoilers.
So far, we have 3 episodes of Loki. So we're going to go talking into Loki. So for those who don't know, Loki is about the god of mischief from the Marvel movies. In Avengers Endgame, they were trying to get the Infinity Stones to reset time and yada yada. You guys know what happened in Endgame. Loki picked up the Tesseract and he warped through time, creating a branch and a variant of himself. Because kind of like Back to the Future, there's one steady stream of time, but if you mess things up, there are branches that develop in time. Because of what Loki did, he done messed up the timeline. The sacred timeline. The sacred timeline, which was made by these 3 supreme beings. That's right, these multipass supreme
lizard
beings.
People.
I love that Loki was just like, I love how he talks down. He's like, oh, well, I'm supposed to believe in all this because like 3 lizard people, because he's like an Asgardian and he's in like Norse mythology, like his is like superior. And I love Owen Wilson's character. He's just like, yeah, same thing. And Loki's like, no, it's not the same thing. It's not gobbledygook. We're real. There's Odin, I'm Loki, there's Thor. We're real. We're superior. And he's just like, same kind of deal to me. And like that's the stuff that I like. I love the dynamic between Owen Wilson and Tom Hiddleston. It's so good seeing Owen Wilson back. That I'm jazzed about. But, guys,
it's so good to see him in a television show.
It's good to see him in anything. He's been gone for a minute. What was your first impression starting up the first episode of Loki? You're sitting down in your living room, you're eating your popcorn, you're drinking your drink, and it's going on. And what's going through your mind as you're watching it?
You know me, I'm the biggest MCU shield that there is. I'll watch literally anything they put out. What was I thinking while I'm watching this? I love how weird like Phase 4 is. Like they're just not afraid to get weird at all. They're just all in on, okay, like we're gonna do a whole story where the timeline is messed up. We have this entire system of bureaucrats that exist to preserve the sacred timeline. They're just men in suits and infinity stones or paperweights. Like it's weird, it's weird and it's funny, and I'm just a big fan.
What about you, Chris? The first episode boots up, you're sitting there watching and enjoying it, or not enjoying it, or what's going through your brain?
I definitely liked the first episode. I wasn't quite sure what to expect, but I was just like Casey. It was like, all right, cool. It's MCU stuff. It's going to be a little weird time universe hopping. And when done well, I'm a big fan of that. And also Owen Wilson. I love me some Owen Wilson. So I was like, all right, let's watch this. Definitely really liked the first episode. And I did like the second episode, but I think third episode I was a little step back with.
This last episode I was very whelmed.
Yeah.
Well, before we get to the third episode, so we're in the Team VA, the Time Variant Authority, and it's an interesting concept, right? Like there is this concept of wacky space Marvel. And I'm all for it. I love wacky space Marvel, just full sending it into like different dimensions, different places. It makes it seem a bit more fun, a bit more, it opens your mind more, right? Because we're always on Earth, we're always doing some Earth stuff or whatever, especially like in some of those Netflix series. But now it's like beyond Guardians, we're beyond space and time. And Loki, being the god of mischief, is just like, wait a minute, like what is this place? Like who are you people really? And Owen Wilson's character explaining, well, we exist to kind of police time and rule over time, sort of. We were created by the timekeepers to protect the sacred timeline, and since you've broken it, we need you to help us put it back. And Loki's interaction with them and Owen Wilson's character, the interrogation room scene, I thought was a great character study, right?
And he keeps zapping him right back.
Yeah,
So-
what do you guys think of that whole interaction where like Loki's being introduced to the TVA along with us, and I like that we're going on this adventure with him because we don't know anything as much as he does. So what was your impression of the TVA and Owen Wilson's character?
I love that they have this like super high concept thing, and the way that it's being presented to us, the way that this part of the universe, this little pocket of the universe, and the way timeline works is being presented to us as like just like a workplace drama. That tickles me to death. And it also cracks me up the fact that Star Wars wouldn't take the risk of putting in the friggin' Son of Mortis as the final as kind of the final bad guy in Rise of Skywalker because people wouldn't get it. Meanwhile, like Marvel's over here just taking like universe jumping and in timelines, and they're just like, yeah, it's The Office. Like people are just working at desks. And I think that it's very, very clever, and that the whole concept tickles me to death. That whole thing, I think they have very smart ways of showing these concepts, like that weird time loop that Owen Wilson just hits a button and Loki goes back to where he was in time. Big ups.
Awesome.
I'm a big fan of a man whose humble existence as a time bureaucrat. He's like, I just want a jet ski.
Yes.
Not asking for a lot in this life, but you know what? I would love to just have a jet ski.
Wow.
Wow.
Oh wow.
Wow.
And that's where you hit it with the DMCA right there.
Oh, Casey, that was it?
Yeah, I mean, I don't want to go. Listen, I don't want to delve too deeply into the comics, but like Mr. Mobius has like a cool. There's a cool bit in the comics where like he exists as several people at the same time. Like there's several like if you went to the Time Variance Authority in the comics, you'd see like a bunch of like floating desks and a lot of guys who look identical. And Mr. Mobius is one of those guys, and there's like say 6 or 8 of them walking around at any given time because they're just time loop duplicates of himself. So like he's doing this job for so long in so many like goofy like timey-wimey areas of space that he exists like in multiple places at the same time. Like it's just a fun concept overall.
And I think they're playing with that concept in this third episode. But before we get to that, in the second, like we're introduced to the fact that there seems to be a villain out there who's taking out the officers of the TVA in different parts of time, and they can't really catch this being. And then Owen Wilson tells us, "Well, we really need you to one help us restore the sacred timeline." And it's got like shark bait, boo. The sacred timeline, and 2, it's also because it's you. It's you, Loki, that is kind of causing this ruckus and like killing everybody and murdering
It's
everybody.
you, Loki.
Like
You are the bastard man.
you were the baddie all along. I'm the Are we the baddies? And it's interesting because you're just like, wait, what? So you're hunting another Loki, but they don't show that Loki. So you're kind of contemplating, okay, is it like a completely different version of Loki?
It's a cloaked, mysterious figure.
It's Cloaky.
Yeah.
Ooh,
Is it
it's Cloaky.
Is it regular Loki? Is it Femme Shepherd? I mean, what's going on here? Shepherd, Rex. So we go to the next episode, right? And we find that this supposed Loki is just murking, absolutely destroying the officers of the TVA, and they've shown themselves to be very, very capable in combat.
Yeah, they're an elite hit squad of like time cops. They're tough guys, and they have sticks that will completely fucking disintegrate a person.
Dude, I love that where they just delete you from existing.
Tap.
They just delete people. It's insane. So what do you guys think of this cloaked figure we know nothing about at this point in time? Are we led to believe that this is going to be the main villain, or is there something deeper on the horizon?
I was very skeptical that it was a Loki at all at the beginning. I'm like, this is just an easy way for them to try and motivate Loki to help them fix a problem that they can't fix. But well, little do we know, by the end of the second episode and well into the third, there's hijinks afoot.
Like in Malcolm, well there it is.
I
Yeah,
know that
as far as we know, it's a woman named Sylvie who is apparently a version of Loki who just has such a substantially different backstory and more or less chooses not to live as the person that they were. Um, I don't know if it's necessarily treated as a trans allegory because I wouldn't say I'm an expert on that sort of thing, but Loki calls her Loki and she's like that's not who I am anymore, and he immediately like just gets right with the program.
Not really. He's just like, why? It's like, you're supposed to be me, because like that's what Morbius. Mobius. Yeah, that's what he kept saying. Like, it's you. We're coming after you. So he's like, are you really a Loki? Are you really me? And she's like, stop calling me that.
Yeah.
Like that's not me. But like, he's just like, are you sure? Because I wouldn't do what you're doing. If I were you and you were me, I'd use your body to get to the top. You can't stop me no matter who you are.
Spider-Man, man.
Yeah, Spider-Man, me. You're me, and I'm. But yeah, like the reveal that this is like a different version of Loki. I mean, we're dealing with different timelines and different dimensions, right? So out of nowhere, he was just because like in the comics, right, there is like a female Loki, right?
Well, it's him.
It's like him, but he shapeshifts.
It's not even that. It's not even a shapeshift. This was at a time when all the Asgardians had died in a version of Ragnarok.
Oh damn.
They were all reincarnated as humans on Earth. So basically Thor went around Earth like sort of feeling out their souls that were buried in these humans that look exactly like them. And when he brings back Loki, he thinks it's someone and it's someone else. And it turns out he's in Sif's body. So Loki reincarnates himself inside Sif's body. So he's like, ooh, brother, do you want to fuck me or fight me? Ooh, what are you going to do? This is so deeply uncomfortable, isn't it?
It's like in Greek mythology when Zeus goes down to Earth and gets like freaky with everything.
Yeah, he turns into a swan or like a shower.
He turns himself into a cow and he's like, hey, ladies, you want to get it on with a bovine? Like,
yeah.
It's like, what? It's like crazy Greek mythology when the gods just do crazy stuff like that.
I don't care for this at all. Yeah, but he basically takes over Sif's body to like really unnerve Thor for a while. That's the origin of Lady Loki. It's just a big gotcha. It's a prank between brothers.
That's something. He's like, hello, brother. You want to? It's like Buffalo Bill and Silence of the Lambs. Yeah. Would you do
like
me?
it's not,
Put lotion on the
not as
skin.
weird as that. Like it's done with more taste. Where like he shows up as a woman and Thor's like, what? Like you're a woman now? And he's like, oh, do you find this form appealing, brother?
Hello, brother. What are you gonna do now? And she's like, I don't. What the hell? Stupid, sexy Flanders.
Yeah, and then so Loki was female Loki for a while. Then he kind of gave up the goat when Thor's like, yeah, can you give my girlfriend her body back, like please, like. And he's like, oh, fine. So then he was back to being like a hook-nosed, gross old man.
That must have messed up Thor for a while because he's just like, wait, are you really, are you really sick? Like, prove to me that you're her.
I demand to see the goods, Loki.
Right? And Loki's just like, just playing. Loki, stop it. Stop getting in her body. This is weird.
So Loki became a kid for a while. Then he became a bad guy again. Then he was like a hot, sexy teenager. Which I guess was a kind of appeal to the Tumblr crowd at the time.
Oh my God, I imagine.
Yeah, so he kind of rode the line back and forth between being hero and villain. He met a lot of interesting people. He discovered a lot about himself, and now he basically just looks like Tom Hiddleston in the comic.
Oh really? They actually like
they kind of
in the comics where it looks like him. Nice. Yeah. I like when they do that. Yeah. So we get this reveal that this other Loki is a completely different person. It's supposed to be Loki. She says, I'm not Loki. She's what's her name? Sylvie, which is an actual character in the comics, but Marvel MCU does a thing where they kind of like pick and choose, right? Like how Hela from Thor Ragnarok wasn't fully Hela, wasn't fully Lady Death. It was kind of like a hodgepodge of like kind of different people. They borrow from this and that. Yeah, because now fans are like, well, this isn't Loki. This is a completely different character, so it's not Loki. But she still says, yes, I am Loki, but that's not who I am. And you kind of see that they are the same person from different dimensions when they talk about like their mothers and their background.
Yeah.
Where
and she's primarily a riff on another Asgardian character called the Enchantress.
Oh, the
So
Enchantress.
she shares the name with the second Enchantress, who is also named Sylvie. But her overall demeanor and look and powers, I mean, they literally name drop it, and like they say, did you try to enchant me? It's like you can't hide behind these.
Oh, is that why he kept saying enchant, enchant, enchant? Just
Yes,
to like
because she's the Enchantress.
Interesting.
Is she better than DC's Enchantress with all that hula hooping BS and Suicide
Well,
Squad?
she's more interesting. So in the comics, the Enchantress is pretty much like one of a duo. Like she has Scourge, Carl Urban from Ragnarok in her thrall usually.
Oh.
So that was the same thing where you're like, oh, Hela's not quite Hela. It's like Hela's part Enchantress because she has the whole like executioner is like my number 2 angle. You know. They also pull another thing from the comics with Sylvie here too, is that she has the broken horn headband, which was something that Loki, when he was sort of trying to be a hero, was rocking for a while. It's broken in the exact same place that it was drawn in the comics.
Oh, that's tight.
So these guys are really doing their homework, which I always appreciate. This latest episode also gave us a confirmation that Loki is bisexual, which, people really want more representation in these films, and Loki is more or less the exact character to do it because he's not only gender fluid, but he's pretty much down to fuck.
But I thought that was already known because we know like in like Norse mythology, Greek mythology, like that's just who like the gods basically were. I mean, like kind of like what we just talked about, like with like Zeus and all these other gods. So it's like I don't know. There's a big commotion being made about it, but I thought everybody knew that already. It's not like people are just like because when you look at it on Twitter, people are like, oh, look at it, oh, it's amazing, it happened. It's just like, but don't you know Norse mythology, Greek mythology, even some Egyptology? I mean, this is kind of like a well known thing. I mean, are people just not educated? Is that what's happening? Everyone's just dumb.
In the Eddas, Loki famously becomes a female horse to get impregnated to bring rise to some of the things that will soon destroy all of Asgard. So
didn't Zeus do that too? Like he turned himself into like some kind of horse, and like he turned himself into something in which he got impregnated by like somebody or something, and he's like, I'm Zeus, and it's just like, stop doing that.
I don't know if Zeus ever got pregnant, but I know Loki definitely did.
Oh man,
yeah, it's so interesting. I don't know. Like, I guess people were just like down to see themselves like on the big screen and on like the TV. So fine, hey man, do whatever you want. But I thought we all knew that already because people are making a big hubbub. People are writing articles about this. And I'm just like, didn't we know this already? Well, is there an article that needs to be made about this? It's just like, and Heimdall's black. Oh, articles, let's go. Articles, Twitter, let's go. Like,
but him and Sif are brother and sister. How can they be two different races? They're fucking aliens, dude. That's
the other thing too. They're alien gods. It doesn't matter, but whatever.
He can't be black. He's Norse. Like, there's no black Norse people. Like, dude, there's black samurai. Shut up.
Yeah, it's so interesting. But one thing I will say is that like Marvel has this weird thing with like power scaling, right? So Loki, I think, and like I don't know if you guys agree with this, Loki has always had like a threat level. Right, like he was never some push around guy, but in this show, like he's getting beat up by like regular people who get like their mind taken over by
like
Sylvie.
a big fat guy in future.
Yeah, so to stop Loki from getting to her, she takes over the mind of like some like ordinary people from like another planet, another dimension or whatnot, but some big old like lumberjack dude, she's like kicking the crap out of Loki. And in this third episode, like these guards are also kicking the crap out of him. I'm like, yo, what the hell's over there? The power scaling is so weird because like in the movies and everything beforehand, Loki had like a threat level. You know what I mean?
Did he though?
I think so because Thor can serve him up, but when Tony Stark was talking to him, he yoked him up like nothing. He's like, yo, Tony Stark, hey, you forgot who you were talking to. Okay, my brother can kick my butt, but listen, I'm gonna toss you out this window.
But that's because
son.
he had the scepter, though. So he had the Mind Stone. So if you think about like where he was in Avengers, is because he had some friggin' Infinity Stones like backing him up. Right. But like really, Loki just has his normal like illusion magic, and he's incredibly smart.
There's probably a lot of power in that staff.
Yes. So as far as like actual, like obviously he has the brain power to be a supervillain, but as far as like the physicality of it and being able to overpower people, it's not about being actually like physically more powerful than them. He outsmarts them.
Yeah.
Obviously that changed when he got the staff. But that's what his ability is. So in this world where, of course, when he's in the TVA, like he's neutered, but then he goes in and he's up against another Loki who has a slightly altered powers through there. He gets to jump on them.
She's completely self-trained.
Yep.
That I thought was a really neat touch.
Yeah. What's gonna
yeah, because like she said, like that she taught herself, right? Because well, she's self-trained with magic. Is she self-trained with fighting too? Because yo, how is she's more powerful than Loki too? Also power scaling. Like Loki is getting served up in his own show. The hell, like bro, like what are you, Falcon? Like let's you're just getting served up as a title character. Yo, what's up with Marvel and characters being served up with their own title show? What's going on here? I mean, the only person who didn't get served up was Wanda. Wanda was serving everybody up. Yeah.
Yes.
Wanda was just like, you can get it. Vision, you can get it. That one episode where she was just like, you tone your voice down in my house. And Vision's like, stop lying to me. And Wanda's like, did I say for you to stand up when you pee? I said to sit down in my house. Sit down in my house when you pee, boy. And so Wanda's the only one not getting served up in her own show. But Logan's getting served up left and right, boy. I thought he had like a threat level. I don't know. Like maybe it's just me. I was just like, she's kicking his butt. Regular guards are kicking his butt. I'm like, damn.
Yeah. It doesn't really bother me. I love when they make these characters like a little goofy, or they make them kind of dumb at their.
They're out of their element, so they can't respond like they usually do.
Yeah, it's fun. Like I don't need to. Like Loki is not a character who I need to see kicking ass at every turn or being like a candidate for Sorcerer Supreme. Like I'm fine with him being just like, oh, he's got a couple of tricks, you know. You look at the kind of characterization that Taika Waititi gave him, or whether it's implied or not, where Thor's just like, yeah, I remember when we were children, he turned into a snake because he knows I love snakes, and then he turned back into him, he's like, blah, and he stabbed me, and I'm like, yeah, that works. I like that.
The way he delivered, Chris Hemsworth delivered that story was amazing. His comedic timing is so damn good. Once they figured out that Thor's good as a big stupid, like dog puppy dude, like a big bro dude, he became
all you had to do was make him funny, and you instantly made him that much better of a character.
He was already ridiculous. You just need to put that ridiculousness in a different context, and it was gold.
Yeah,
and they're doing that with the Loki show too, because Loki himself too is a lot more of a jokester and a lot sillier in this than he is in anything else. And it's so funny too, because in the other ones he usually has this like bravado, this kind of like I'm a god, you dumb creature. But here he's just like, haha, that's got you again, haha. And I don't know, it's interesting. So moving forward in the show, what do we expect to go on here? Because it looks like what's happening is the female Loki, right? She has this plan to destroy the timekeepers. We don't know why yet. There's an air of mystery.
We know that it's personal.
I got an idea. I have a prediction.
I can't remember.
Yeah, she said that she's been planning it for a long time.
Yeah.
And she's like, they have it coming.
So there is I have a prediction about this, and this is based off of not reading any of the comics, just what I'm throwing out there. I don't know if any of you guys have ever watched the show Fringe.
Yes.
Great show.
There's a phenomenal episode called White Tulip, where basically they're investigating the situation where, like, on this train, just everyone is just dead for no reason. Just the life is drained out of them. And it turns out that there's a guy that's experimenting with time travel. And every time he goes back, they get closer and closer to him. And he's saying no, these people aren't really dead. If I get to do what I want to do, then this will never have happened. And I think that's kind of what's happening here is she's trying to prevent something from happening that has already happened, but she can't, because every time she goes back, the TVA stops her from doing this. So she's trying to convince the timekeepers to let her go back. However, based off of the conversations that we see here, I don't think the timekeepers actually exist or are what they say they are. In a lot of cases, this is definitely going to be I think this is going to be either like a who's the Wizard of Oz type scenario that didn't pay no attention to the man behind the curtain, or like a Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy, where the greatest computer in the world just is like, yep, the answer to everything is 42.
It's 42. Well, what's the question?
Yeah. So, I mean, I think that's where this is all going, and it's going to be interesting to see how everything is blown up, because we know that there is, again, I think I said this when we last talked about Loki, there's literally a movie coming out called The Multiverse of Madness, and the whole point of the TVA is to keep multiverses from happening. So something's going to happen that all hell breaks loose, and all these different variants actually go down.
Now, Casey, what's your prediction that was going to happen? Because you did state, well, you reminded us that it is personal because like she's been planning this for a long time. So, where do you think this is going? Like, what do you think her vendetta is? Why is she trying to destroy the timekeepers, which would, as far as we know, destroy the sacred timeline because they're controlling it and they're weaving it as we see it, keeping us all on this straight and narrow path? What do you think is going to happen?
I honestly I wouldn't even know where to begin. I like a show that has a mystery. I'm not ready to throw Mephisto back in the ring. I got a little sick of hearing that with all the WandaVision stuff.
What if it is?
Every Marvel show now is just going to be like, it's Mephisto.
Yeah, I'm not. Here's the thing. I'm not over speculating anymore. I refuse. I don't want to. Like, I would rather be pleasantly surprised than be like, haha, I knew it all along on my 50th guess. So I will say that I think the timekeepers or whoever is behind the TVA is responsible for her reality being the way it is. In Exiles, which was a comic book about a bunch of mutants who were tasked by a similar group to like sort of police realities and fix things that had gone wrong. It's eventually revealed that the people behind the scenes that are making them fix things are making them fix their own mistakes, that just by observing these universes in the way that they did, they caused irreparable damage and change. So I think that whatever misfortunes that Sylvie may have had in her life are the responsibility of the people behind the TVA, that they screwed things up for her, and then they're screwing things up and, you know, trying to make it seem like they're the, you know, the all powerful keepers and whatnot, and, you know, making everything right. But they've done way too much damage and it needs to be completely rectified at the root. That's all I got. I don't know. All I know is I'm very invested in the story. The last episode I felt was like it was a little too heavy on exposition and, I hate to say, character development. Like, I think they just threw way too much at it, way too much of it at us at once. So I don't know. I like the twist that, you know, the TVA, the people who are employed there don't realize that they themselves are variants. I think that's a great twist that I never would have anticipated. So I don't know. There's a lot going on. There's a lot of things it could be, but I'm not.
Yeah, I think it's interesting that we find out that the TVA, because Owen Wilson's character Mobius says that he was born from the timekeepers and put in the TVA, right? Everybody there that works there was. And then later on we find out that Lady Loki, when she mind melts and takes over people's minds, she has to use memories and she has to use certain things in order to control them, right? The more powerful the mind, the more she has to go inside of them and find something to manipulate. Like we find that, you know, one of the strong agents that she took over the mind, she went to a time when before she was a TVA agent, when she was a real person. And Loki was like, "Wait, what do you mean? Like, I was told that they were always there. They're not people." And she was like, "No, yeah, they were." It's like, they don't know that. Wait, what? So like they're variants. They're like, well, what are related? They're all variants. Like when you look out on that whole city from the balcony in one of the earlier episodes, you see this whole like crazy thing of the TVA, this time thing. So all those people are different variants from like real people in time. But why do they all think that they just were born in the timekeepers and they just work there? That part's interesting. And Casey kind of says, goes back to something you said earlier about Mobius having different versions of himself and different copies of people within the TVA. So it kind of seems like Marvel is doing that, but not in the way that that was in the comics, right? Because so here they tell us that, okay, these people are born from the timekeepers. They work there, but in the comics, there's multiple copies of the same. Like there'll be a bunch of Owen Wilsons, just wow, all over the place. And now we're kind of giving like a revelation that that's what's happening here.
Yeah,
interesting. Yeah.
There's also, I mean, another fun thing about the TVA in the comics that it's sort of in the movie, but I mean, sort of in the TV show, but sort of not. All the peacekeepers, the guys with sticks, they're all supposed to be parodies of Judge Dredd.
Oh, is that what that is?
Yeah, yeah. In the comics,
sense.
in the comics at least, they're called Justice, like Justice Peace. You know, is like one of the big ones. But yeah, I don't know. I'm really looking forward to it. You know, we got a new episode, and you know, every Wednesday, and we're already half done. So they gotta do some serious story pushing to make it work.
Bro, this episode felt like anime filler, and we have 6 episodes. Man.
I guess you really hated it, huh?
Not hated it. It just felt like anime filler. I mean, where did we go in this episode aside from like the whole the time variant authority people are all variants. Other than that, there's like some character development. Oh, what about your mom? Oh, what about your mom? And then Loki like singing and drinking in a different tongue. Them doing like this little heisty thing. And then then the episode's kind of done. So plot wise, like I don't think anything really happened. We got a little tidbit. I mean, Marvel's really good at that, right? Because I felt like in WandaVision, like there was like one or two of those like filler type things, and
they get trapped in a reality. Their little device breaks, like yada yada yada.
Yeah, and like it's literally a plot device. That device breaking was literally a device,
a literal
for them to continue. And it's so weird too because like when they were on that planet, it's like, oh crap, this is the planet nobody escapes from, and then they're just like, oh god, there's like imminent danger, and then they're just like walking and talking like 2 minutes later. Yeah. Like I'm like, wait, where's the continuity of the imminent danger you were just screaming about a second ago? This is kind of that bothers me, like a continuity in production. It's just like, well, this Loki seems to be more adept at time. She knows what this apocalypse is. They both kind of she freaked out more about it. She freaked our Loki out about it, and then 2 minutes later, they're just kind of walking into. And I'm just like, man, like this show doesn't know what's doing. I don't know what. But I don't know. It's 6 episodes, and then this one's anime filler. The plot wise, nothing really happened. I want to because like, I want it to move along. There's so much mystery that
you know what
I don't want things just to wrap up at the end and be like, see you in Multiverse of Madness.
You know what I really want out of these shows, to be honest with you? I appreciate the vision that different directors can give to a show. In something like Black Mirror, where you have a different director for every program, for every episode. Like, I get it. Like, you know, it's all a different story. They're all self-contained. There's no continuity between episodes. But something like The Mandalorian or something like Loki, I feel like you should have you should have more consistency. You should have like a real, I mean, I'm sure they have a real thought out narrative between everything, but you know, this feels different than the first 2 episodes, and it's because it's directed by a different person. So, like, I get it, but I just, you know, I just want it to, like, if you're only doing 6 episodes, just make it tight, you know?
Yeah.
Comedians always talk about, you know, you got to do your tight 5, you got to do your tight 15. You're giving yourself a limited time to do this show. Like 6 episodes is not just an arbitrary choice. You're not like, well, let's do 5 episodes. Let's do 12 episodes. Like if you say you're going to do 6 episodes for a television show that's coming out on a streaming service, like that's your plan. Like what you've written, what you've planned out, your story arc for this character is only intended to span 6 episodes. So you shouldn't have things that feel like filler or feel like a waste.
That's what I'm saying.
I'm
man.
with you, dog.
You know, like you got. I'm not going to name some other channels. The YouTube channels are like, oh, this is gold. Chef's kiss. I love all the that we're getting in here. I'm like, yo, what kind of mediocre dishwasher person is this, dude? And by dishwasher, I mean like dullest dishwasher. You know what I mean? It's just
look. I don't want to overly fillet Marvel. Like, listen, I love everything.
Overly.
I don't want to. Yeah, well, you know, like there are flaws in.
I expect more from Marvel, right? This isn't DC. Like DC has to prove they can do this stuff. Marvel has shown me that they can deliver. They've shown me.
The problem is they've put the bar so fucking high.
Yes,
because their great stuff is really great, and their bad stuff is just like fine.
Yeah,
like Thor 2, I don't think is a bad film, or Iron Man 2, I don't think it's bad. It's just fine.
I could watch Thor 2 over any of the Zack Snyder like DC movies.
Yeah,
I can easily, absolutely easily.
I have to because I keep forgetting what happens in that movie.
It's Dark Elves, baby.
Oh man, but
it's not bad. It's just forget about it.
It's just fine.
Yeah, it's just
like
fine.
I said.
Yeah, Loki's an interesting show. We'll see what happens. Hopefully, the next episode is a banger. I mean, they kind of let this off here, where they were trying to escape this apocalypse, right? Because the female lady was hiding in apocalypses, and they're trying to get on the ship in an arc. Totally blew up. I absolutely love the sequence of them looking up and seeing that planet just crack in half and all this debris going down. The way it was shot, I thought was fire. The way it was put together was fire. My only issue was the action was still kind of a bit shaky. I mean, I get it. It's your real actors doing it. They're not actual martial arts experts or whatever. But I don't know. Then just have them run. Don't do a fight scene where they're like gankingly trying to fight and like put like there's literally like a stunt person that Tommy Hiddleston literally just pushed off to the side. I was like, what? I was like, come on. What are we doing here? We thought of this last minute. It'd be cool if we have like a fight sequence as we're running up to it. No, just have them run. Like
he forgot the choreography and was just like,
he's like, screw it.
Give him a good show.
He just full sentence so good. But yeah, that sequence was so freaking tight, and it makes me like, oh, what's the next one going to be? Yeah, they're trying to skip an apocalypse, and looks like they're not going to. How are they going to get out of this? It seems like really like no hope unless someone from the TVA like finds like, I found you. In all the apocalypses we searched, here you are. In which
I'm getting you out of here.
Yeah. It's gonna be because it seems like there's really no way for them to get out of here. Also, I love that Tara Strong, side note, is the clock animated thing.
Yeah.
Just
minutes. Awesome.
Yeah, well, that's pretty sweet. But yeah, next episode of Loki should be interesting. We're looking forward to it. Like Disney Marvel, give it to us. Full send it. Let's go.
Yep.
No more filler. Send it. Full send. Let's freaking go.